Hey Devin, doing a video instead of basic release. I'm going to send you the zip files over email for this program. This is the self-learning language program, command line language program that I was telling you about. Totally open source. Anyone who wants it, anyone who wants to add, let me know any bugs you find, please. Any critiques with the code would be great. Yeah, so I had some time over the holidays, workflow slowed down, it's pretty quiet, which is normal, and decided to bust out this multifunction script. It's coded in JavaScript and simple bash scripts and uses a customized command so you can access it anywhere in the shell from the bash rc folder, which I'll show you first. So let me just change directories to my home directory. Simple cd command, clear it up. And I'll start by showing you that file. Let me nano into it. Here's where the basic command is, which is set through it's actually called the user aliases file, which bash recommends in the bash rc file for global aliases and just making your life a whole lot easier for your whole system. Runs perfectly. It's Linux. Bing, bing. So yeah, this is the main file down here. Let me scroll down for you. Get rid of these lines. It's D, short for Deepl, which I'll get into in a second. Actually, that leads me a good segue to the basic idea of this program is I was frustrated with the quality of Google Translate's translations, just based on my work and my endeavor to learn Spanish. So I found Deepl to be a highly better competitor, and of course it's not Google, so it's not trying to take over the world and read everyone's mind. But so I was like, how can I combine the two to make like a kick-ass self-sustained language learning program from the command line? And that's the basic idea and what I set out to do. It took me a couple weeks figuring everything out, as I'm pretty new in the coding field. So anyways, back to this command. This is what you type to access this program. Anyone who installs this will need to copy my style, will need to put this in their either bash rc or user aliases file, which gets imported into the bash rc. So it's a little neater, so this doesn't clunk up the actual shell and initialization script. And it's pretty neat. I just recently cleaned it up with the arguments list. I realized you can put an array as an argument instead of all the arguments, so that made things a lot more bonito. And yeah, this is where things are going to be called from. Let's X out of this and go into my Deepl folder. Deepl's a European company. They're not 100% open source, but they have a pretty sweet API access for developer accounts. Same as Google, and Google's just has unbelievable stuff that you can do with fake human voices and accents and stuff. But Deepl's catching up. And their basic text is very beautiful. So let me show you that, give you an example. Here we're going to do, let's go through this application and its translation. Now notice at the start of my sentence, I did not add an apostrophe here. This is for functionality. I want to ignore punctuation and some things about grammar, but mostly keep the grammar straight, because this is a lookup program. This is bare bones. I want to just look up this translation as fast as possible. I'm talking to someone in the room, maybe. I have this app on my phone, right? So don't even bother with this. If you need to if you want to do punctuation and experiment and play with it that way, you have to exit out with a backslash that tells the programs that to not take this apostrophe as some part of the code. Regex expressions, I believe it's called. But I'm going to go back to the original form and let's put this through, see what we get. So a little cute command line user interface cleans up the screen, gives it to you with quotation marks, the translation. Vemos esta aplicación y su traducción. And then you'll notice down here we have different forms of verb conjugation, which is my good segue into the second function, which is my verbs. So what I did, let me clear this for you, do a list command, is create, I assembled close to 500, you can see right here, 460, of the most useful verbs in my lexicon that I am most interested in learning the translations of from my source language, English, into Spanish. So I have 460 that I compiled. I generated them through a script, which is included in this package. I have this verb conjugation production tool, and I translated them to Spanish, and then created a list from there, one with accent marks and one without, just to play around with that. So what this does now is every time you are looking for something off the cuff, on the fly, for a translation, it will grep instead into my verb list, or your verb list that you create for yourself, and list that as well, so you have a handsome little list like we just saw. Show that to you one more time. So here we have different conjugations of different verbs. It's bare bones, it's not sophisticated. I could add to it, get it like 1,000 verbs in there, and add more appropriate conjugations to these lists, but so far that's what I have. All right, and then one more final thing before we go to the final function is just a simple egrep search. So you can give the parameter e, and let's see, wasn't I looking up something the other day that had contra in it? Let's see. Sorry about that. My screen grabbing program does not want to let me use this Linux emulator here, so we're gonna skip that and just tell you. It's one of the final functions is an egrep, just to see if you can, if you want to look up a word in your query log. So this program comes with a clear query log as well of all your queries, because of course to study a language you want to be looking up things you've already recorded to put it into your mind so it can come out your mouth. And this is our query log. I should be able to show you this, right? Not too much memory there. This is all my queries over weeks and weeks and weeks, living in Mexico and everything. So you can just simply look in that with the E parameter, look up something, and it'll print it out for you in a nice color-coded grep output. All right, final command, which should work. I already tested this, is kind of the grand finale. It's my favorite accomplishment as I'm learning how to code here in JavaScript through Node.js and Bash. And that is a pronunciation command. This is where I tie it together. I can read it on the screen, but I want to know authentically how it's pronounced. I want really close phonetic dictation in my ears, okay? So I added this function, simply p, lowercase, everything's case sensitive, obviously. And this will, let's do cenar. Cenar is a verb that I was always wondering. I had always seen it written and never really heard it on the streets. So I was like, how the hell do you pronounce this here in Mexico? So Google's default voice that they use for their Google simulated voice AI stuff is actually Mexicana. So very soothing in your ears. Let's listen to this. This will launch VLC. VLC, a nice open source program.
Cenaler.
Now it gives you the option for practice like you would in a language learning center and in a classroom. Let's hear it again.
Se lo cenaler.
Señálamelo, por favor.
Too fast. Do you want it one time slow? Yes.
Se lo señaler.
That's all calling VLC, one of my favorite programs, which can capture screens, but was having a little bit of difficulty with that one. I gotta update my Windows, damn, to make sure everything's compliant. But so that launches VLC. They have a very, very easy way to call it from the command line, even from a virtual Debian distribution within Windows. Yeah, that's my final function. And this is working beautifully. It was so tedious and it's so rewarding to finally have this program up and running. I access it a million times throughout the day. My workflow is slow. I switch over and learn me some Spanish. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed that, Dev. I want some critiques. I want some fixes to my code if you can take a look at it. And yeah, that's my idea I'm putting forth. Let's collab.